Hey, folks, and welcome to The Vice. We got a little bit of something different that we're going to be doing today, as we are going to remind our players, ourselves, our viewers, all the folks of what the heck, gosh darn it, is going on. It has been a 3-year campaign. We have been literally across the world and back, or across the continent and back, and met lots and lots of folks and people and things, some of which are side questy, some of which are important, some of which are whatevers. So we are going to take a moment today to dive into our lore. Hey, new Titans! Dude, it's so awesome to see you! Because, good Lord, it's been what a long, strange trip that it has been. And a lot of this actually even began before our party was around. Some of this stuff has been up in motion for a long, long time. So, we are going to take a moment, at least go around, meet our players, and then we are going to start diving a little bit into this. It is sort of a question and answer-y type thing, where I will try to take some of the questions from the chat. If we don't get too far astray or down a rabbit hole, I might say I'll follow up with you later. But certainly our players might have questions. I might completely miss stuff because while I think it's crystal clear in my brain, it ain't. But first, who do we got playing today? We will start with Dragons or Cats.
Hello everyone, I am Dragons and Cats, coming all the way from 6 a.m. Australia time, and I'm playing Vidar Lachran, the absolute joke of a social entrepreneur who's trying to, create relations out of nothing and then reckon it all.
Awesome. Next up, as a voice from a picture, we have Templar Warden, as his camera's being crazy.
Hello, I am Templar Warden. I am playing, as you can see, the Tabaxi Dragon Wizard hidden by Axel. It is 8 o'clock here in New Zealand, and it's quite a nice day from the looks of things. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of reminders of how much I've actually forgotten.
Pretty accurate,
and
I think.
Course, all the consequences of my actions, but that's fine. We're going to fix that. It's fine.
So, next up, we have Bird vs. Plane.
Hi, folks. I'm Bird vs. Plane. I have been taking notes on this campaign for 3 years now, and when I look back at them, I have to wonder, who are these people? How do I pronounce these names? What was I thinking when I tried to write these down? So I'm very excited for this session to think about, B. Artenberry. That was the name of somebody 2.5 years ago. Great. I'll be playing Iskatal, the Apple Bard Gunslinger.
Oh, dear.
Wow. You have to throw B in my face, didn't you? Didn't you? You had to throw B in my face. Next up is NNG9.
Hi, I'm Energy 9. I play Lunar Wadajanasi Monk, and Bird has proved that I was correct in never taking notes and just pretending I remembered what happened. It's worked for 3 years. It's gone great. Never been a gap. Never.
And last but not least, in the no think zone, we have Good Guy Pie.
Everyone, I am Good Guy Pie. I will be playing Look Gold Hard Adventure Extraordinary all the way from Elevation Pit. And yeah, after all of this, who has least amount of knowledge on this? Probably me, both in and out character. Why? Because I go off to the front of the cart and never listen to any of the plot points.
Hey, sometimes that is the right strategy in this game. I am Tall Squall.
Sometimes you just got to look out for the little miner.
There you go. That's what he was doing up in the front of the cart all those times. Anyway, I I am Tall Squall. I am your DM. I also am the home brewer of this crazy, insane world that has just exploded in a bazillion different directions over the years. We do run this channel 100% for charity. We are supporting all the way through the end of April a great organization called Game to Grow, and I'm going to have Bird vs. Plane tell us a little bit about what all they do.
Sure. Real quick synopsis is Game to Grow is an organization that uses role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons to help those who have social difficulties or who are on the autism spectrum or other potential obstacles in the means of living a healthy social life, and using those games as a way to allow them to express themselves in a safe place, as a way to build social networks, and as a way to just have fun. They've been wildly successful so far, and it seems like they're expanding every single day. So if you can donate, that'd be awesome. If you can't, don't worry about it. Hang out, listen to us ramble, and please get out your cork boards and your string and your photographs and post-it notes as we try to put this conspiracy board together.
And what a conspiracy board it is. I, of course, being me, because I'm me, I brought visual aids. Because of course I did. So we're going to do just a quick little bit of grounding. I've been sending this out over Twitter if people have been seeing it, but if not, totally understand. I'm not sure if, depending on how you're viewing our stream, this might be clear or not. I can zoom in on things if it's tough, but I'm not going to dwell here a lot. Originally, I was going to make this be sort of how I led you all through the world. But dear God, was it ever a history lesson that I don't think anybody wanted or needed. So I'm going to stick with this real high level just to get you to where we are. This is what things the party knows and stuff that they've researched when they've done research of the world. And some of this is stuff that the party doesn't necessarily know, but my players know. Look at that. I got a hype train remote. Thank you. Things that they know. And also, as I've been putting together both some adventures in our world that happened before the party and also a world book, some of this has gotten even more fleshed out. So let's just sort of in the beginning this, but we're not going to go deep into in the beginning this. The big thing to know, yeah. Should I go get a beer? Should I start this with a beer? Should we all have everyone just take a second and go get a beer or something? Because, damn. Let me just tell you. Yeah, there's a whole lot of wow that we're about to get into. Yeah, grab your beer, grab your water, grab your coffee, whatever you might need to, like, calm your nerves. Because here we go. Way, way back. There is... the group of, I'm going to put Luna's little picture up here so we've got something to look at as she's trying to get her camera fixed up. Anyway, so way, way back in the Wayback Machine, you had the Cosmic Archfey, the Court of the Cosmic Archfey. Don't need to know all about them. The big thing you need to know is you have the Frost Prince, who like creates worlds, spheres, things like that, in the grand sense of Spelljammer, D&D, the universes. These spheres each contain the different universes in the D&D world. Mine is one of them. Came much later than all the other ones. This sphere was created by the Frost Prince because he needed some place to park his brother, who had betrayed him and brought chaos to the universe one too many times, the Duke of Sunsets. And so he literally built a solar system, made its own little sphere around it, and didn't just put, like rest of the Spelljammer world, one big crystal sphere, think a snow globe, with a solar system inside of it. He basically put a 7-layered snow globe around it. That there is actually 7 crystal spheres to make this into a prison, to lock it away from the rest of the world. Plopped his brother in there and said, exile, enjoy it, see ya. That is where our world has been existing for basically the last 30,000 years. Yes, lots of sevens incoming. So time goes on. Big giant cosmic happenings are going on. Something pops a hole basically through all 7 layers and creates a gateway in and a gateway out. However, because all 7 of these spheres are sort of rotating on different axes, very quickly that hole closes up, just like if you had 7 layers of Swiss cheese and you start rotating them, all of those holes have to all come into alignment for you to get that gate again. And so, while there is a way in or out, it takes a very long time for everything to line up. Time passes. Things happen, stuff happens, ancient world things. I'm not going to dwell on it. There's lots of stuff written, but I'm not going there. We then come to a piece of the story that our party members do know. The dragon skeleton and dragon that they went through, the cosmic glyphstale dragon, known as Gwilynfura, followed a group of netherwings into this sphere when all of the gates lined up. They snuck into the sphere. Naltua, netherwing, her 2 consorts, followed by Gwilynfura, the glyphstale. Basically, forces of good and evil come into this sphere. And it is during that time, the gate closes up behind them, that Naltua, a netherwing, and her 2 consorts are put into a soul prison by Gwilynfura. But not before Naltua, the netherwing, the bad guy, gets a message out to the universe at large of saying, hey, you want some great nesting ground with lots of protection and lots of raw magic? This is your spot. So Gwilynfura spends the next period between gates, which is 686 years. It's a 7 thing. Getting this whole place ready for that. That's the Chaos War. Next time the gate opens, netherwings come pouring in. Gwilynfura is there to meet them. Other agents of the Frost Prince. Basically, the Chaos War decimates pretty much everything except this one little planet that we're all on. The big way that is all resolved, Gwilynfura, this giant dragon, literally like the size of the Atlanta airport, sacrifices themselves, destroys all cosmic beings inside of the sphere, as well as erasing the chaos weave, basically the different weaves of magic, the chaos weave. And that starts throwing magic out of balance. Fast forward, things just start getting rough and getting bad. We have lots of other story points along the way. Primal real estate, terrible. Primal real estate, I saw that. Basically, lots of other stuff happens. We have another big Sylvan war between the elves and the humans. We have the netherwings that arrive, and we're going to go into a lot of other stuff. But instead of me just taking you through this timeline and all of this literally gate by gate, year by year, event by event, what I want to do is let's get Luna back on the screen. There's an NG9. What we're going to do, the big piece that we need to know about is the Archmistress. The Archmistress. So first thing, any big, huge questions? I was going to say, I know I just glossed over lots of that stuff. Or any interest in me going through this timeline in detail?
How do we kill her?
Exactly. There we go. So let's just jump forward. Let's jump forward in time, out of our history lesson, and into... First, we're going to do some factions of just some of the other players, and then we're going to jump into the Archmistress. So, some of the ones we know. The Arcana Mystica. This is a group that basically controls magic across the world. We've had lots of hints that there are troubles and factions and fracturing within the Arcana Mystica. And we're going to learn a little bit more about that as we get into the Archmistress's story. But in general, the Archmistress is in charge of the Arcana Mystica, which is this giant group that pretty much has a stranglehold on all magic across the world. Temple of Purity, which is pretty much been rendered in basically they're in disarray after the events of our group went in and destroyed them. But they've been this group who have been basically harvesting Genasi for their magic and their power, which helps to control some of the chaos that is unleashed by the Vice, the creation of the Vice itself. Stairway to 7, man, I need to keep up with chat. We had Bati, who showed up, did his thing. We had the Netherwings, who are still all around. Suddenly Asmodeus is in this mix. The Obsidian Order, which is our giant group of assassins. We've got Mim and the Duke of Sunsets, who has been thrown in here as well. And the big one that's out there is, while our group has been told that they are all have these roles to play in this grand cosmic design, some other folks have been listening and reading the prophecies as well, and basically have kind of assembled their own group to fill those roles, basically in opposition to these other chosen. But our story basically revolves around the Archmistress. The Archmistress, Almathera Delgarinor. And, yep. And she is... I want to see if I can capture this for you all. Nope, that's not what I want. Actually, I guess I can do that. That works just as good. Window capture 7. Nope, that doesn't work. Sorry, folks. I wanted to show you a... I thought I had a display capture. Apparently not. Stand by. We're doing this live, folks. Window capture. Okay. Lore update. There it is. Okay. Okie dokie, folks. I just want to do this really quick so that y'all can see a family tree, because this, believe it or not, gets important. Who the heck is the Archmistress Delgarinor? So, she is related to the party in actually a number of different ways. So, Almathera Delgarinor. I'm going to just say who she is first in relation to the party, and then we're going to back into it. She was the first wife of Kel's mother's first husband. Exactly. What the heck does that mean? So, let's go backwards to this. Originally, we had the Archmistress Delgarinor was married to Eldaron Delgarinor. She actually became pregnant with his child, but never delivered it. Much like in the Dune novels, she held it in her womb unborn. It's something that elves are able to do in my world. So they ended up separating, getting a divorce, and Eldaron went on to marry Ravinia Greenblade, which is Kel's mother. But he had 2 children through Ravinia, which we've met, their sons, Valoran and Celadar. This gets important because Valoran and his wife are the parents of Sethander, who is one of the chosen members of our prophecy, of our group. One of one of the genasi that we need to fulfill a prophecy. So the Archmistress is basically Sethander's grandmother. I mean, he flat out is. In a weird way. Grandmother by marriage. Ravinian Galadriel, her second husband, went on to have Telerian and Kel. Telerian was basically blood brothers with Dustin, who is the father of Lily, who is another key member of some of the stuff that we are doing. So, if that wasn't confusing enough, that's who she is. That's who she is related to our party. Bird, how terribly am I doing on this?
That was actually pretty neat.
We started somewhere. We had to start somewhere. Why don't you keep going and we'll see where we end up.
Okay. So.
Anybody who watches anime got it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's all that, all my anime fans out there. So basically, she is old stepmom, old step-grandmom to a bunch of these folks who we've bumped into along the way. So she is also the head, currently, of the Arcana Mystica. Imagine that. She is 686 years old, because I do those things. You know me and my sevens. I like my sevens. So she's currently hey, thanks for the and Wills for the host. I do appreciate it. So she was born on the last gate. So we talk about how these spheres rotate and big things happen when the gates open. They open every 686 years. Exactly one gate ago from our present time in our campaign, the Archmistress was born. Basically, born under a star sign. One of the things that happens when the gates open, which the party has experienced before, is that magic basically blacks out. So she was basically born under a magicless sky, so to speak. But the big thing is that for the last 600 years, she has been shaping all of the policies and the works of the Arcana Mystica. So let's jump into who the Arcana Mystica was. After the Sylvan War, this giant war that lasted for 1,000 years, for an entire 1,000 years between the elves and the humans, at the end of that, in our campaign, about a year ago now, we saw how that ended, because the history books talk about how suddenly the elves, when they were about to do the final assault on the capital city of the humans, instead marched in and surrendered, and not just surrendered, but placed themselves in servitude, basically indentured servitude for a generation to all of the humans who had been involved. So there was something huge and mysterious that happened there. The mysterious thing that happened there was that magic went blacked out, and one of the groups, the elves, took advantage of that to horrible effect of the humans. But in general, the biggest thing was the devastation after this war. For 1,000 years, they literally destroyed a whole huge area of the eastern side of the continent, which used to be known as the Orchard of Eldath, now known as the Sylvan Expanse. It is a place of volcanic rock and magical, arcane desolation. After the fighting stopped, the elves and the humans came together and said, we can't let this ever happen again. And what they did is they formed the Arcana Mystica to basically be a way to help regulate magic. There were still lots of magic users who held a grudge after the Sylvan War. There are lots of creatures that had been summoned that were magic users. During that, there were lots of incredibly dangerous new spells that were developed during wartime. And they wanted a way to try to regulate and lock that down. So with the best intentions, the elves and the humans came together and created this council called the Arcana Mystica to begin to get a hold of magic, and especially this high-level magic that pretty much, decimated generations of not just humans, but elves. 1,000 years is all but 3 generations of elves as well. And they never wanted to do that again. So they basically made this kind of NATO for magic called the Arcana Mystica. That was about 2,000 years ago. If we look back at our timeline, is when that happened. It ushered in an era known as the Age of Order. During that time, because of the destruction of the Chaos Weave, they also severed the connection to the divine in my world. And divine influence began to wane, and had been waning for the last 6,000 years. We were about halfway through that with the Sylvan War. And without chaos influencing magic, arcane magic, but also weakening both natural magic and also druidic magic and divine magic, cleric's magic, you basically ended up with this ascendancy, this very rapid ascendancy of the imposition of order upon magic. And the Arcana Mystica quickly became an agent of that. They began to lock down access to high-level magic to only people who were approved to use it. They started to confiscate spell books of the old masters, so that when old magic users were dying, they would confiscate their high-level spell books in order to keep those spells out of the hands of the general population. One of the big things that happened about 1,000 years ago is the Sun Elves of Balathira, who had infiltrated the Arcana Mystica pretty heavily, moved the center of power of the Arcana Mystica from the Arcane Terrorist and Falcon's Crest to Balathira, where they started making these institutions of magic, these schools of magic, in order to, whenever anyone had any sort of magic aptitude, they were either conscripted or encouraged to join the schools of Balathira, because that was the way that they could live up to their potential. All the great college recruiting stuff that was going on to start bringing all the magic users to Balathira. With that, it became more and more insular. It became more and more regulated. It became more and more a mark of the elite. The arcane magic users started to very much consider themselves the book-learned magic users, very much consider themselves the cream of the crop. And because of the fact that order was ascending so greatly as chaos was receding and the divine was receding, they actually were accelerating faster than some of the other schools of magic. Sorcerers, which exist in our world, were being indoctrinated into the Arcana Mystica and into the training programs, into their school of sorcery, but it was considered basically a lesser breed of magic, that you were sort of this sort of half-breed and not pure magic, because your magic was derived from your bloodline. Druids were becoming disparaged. There was taken into sort of this harsh, regimented school of druid training that brought to Balathira, and pretty much suppressing a lot of their wild shaping and things like that, and turning them into just magic users that draw upon nature. And the big thing that happened was that warlocks were considered to be aberrations, and basically are vilified, and that their magic was tainted and dirty, nasty, hedge magic, not magic from a true source. When the Archmistress came into power, she basically took that all to the next level. It had sort of been starting to happen over the 300 years before she came into power, but when she came into power, she basically pressed that advantage in a huge way, and started making everything even more. Everything was just intensified underneath of her new rule as she ascended through the ranks and finally becoming the Archmistress. While all this was going on, Arcana Mystica is in control of teleportation now. They've created this huge teleportation network across the land. They're in charge of magic, basically, so all commerce passes through them. They're becoming not just a arcane power in the world, they are becoming a financial power in the world as well, and a political power in the world. And as whenever you have things have a monopoly, folks pop up and start to want to change things. In our world, that was the Zephyr Consortium. Who created the airships and started making, out of that airship program, started making lots of these practical magic things. Some of the things that our party had bumped into is the boiling stones that we use to make tea. Instead of having to build a campfire or whatever, you take this, rub it twice, drop it in your teapot, and basically it works like an electric kettle. The other one that they haven't bumped into is like sending tablets, where you basically write a message and close it, and it's basically you have text messaging. Lots of things like that became these innovations that came out of the airship program. They were very popular. Basically, it was like suddenly people were having electricity wired to their house for the first time. And a lot of public opinion started turning against the Arcana Mystica and towards the Zephyr Consortium, especially since the Zephyr Consortium was going to have an alternative to the teleportation network for getting around the world, shipping goods, doing commerce, just regular travel, etc. And as their first airships launched, there was a whole fleet of them. All of a sudden, the Arcana Mystica's sun seemed to be setting. The world was embracing this idea of magic's for everyone again. Magic should be in every person's house. Everyone should know basic spells and be able to cast Mage Hand, or have a stone or a rune so that they can use Mage Hand in their house. And that, of course, as the Archmistress was very much into her own power, she wanted to find a solution. And so she turned to her Lord Diviner, who we've met, and said, hey, look into your divination skills, look out into all of the possibilities that are out there, find me a solution. And in his deep dives into divination, as we've seen even our Axel do before, he bumped into a solution, which was the 3 Netherwings, which I mentioned way, way back in the Chaos War, before the Chaos War even, that had been locked away so they weren't affected by that destruction of all the cosmic beings that were within the sphere. They were protected in this soul prison. But the Lord Diviner saw that there was a way to release them. And so 98 years ago, we get into the meat of it now. 98 years ago, during an alignment of 6 of the 7 gates, so we're not quite to a full opening, but during 6 of the 7 gates, the Archmistress took that unborn child's soul that was in her womb, and using a blood ritual, released the Netherwings. Basically, she kind of did a Indiana Jones swap from the first movie. Basically swapped this unborn child's soul in to bring the Netherwings, now 2 and her consorts, basically to open the gates of this prison. The big piece of that ritual was it was going to bestow upon her basically this key to the prison. That if ever she sort of severed her connection with that key, the Netherwings would be immediately dragged back into the prison. It's called the Anchor. But the ritual ended. The Netherwings were released. In fact, she was a little bit surprised. She knew that 3 went in, but 7 came out because they had bred inside of the prison. So you have now 2 consorts and 4 offspring. And the Anchor, she did not feel the Anchor, this bound to her soul. Now Tua comes out. Thank you very much. Who the hell are you? This giant cosmic level being. And Archmistress looked now Tua in the eye, said, I'm your master, baby, because I have the key to your prison, and bluffed and basically rolled a nat 20. And they said, now Tua said, yes, ma'am. And so these dragons went, destroyed all the airships, took over the sky, and got rid of the Archmistress's problem with the Zephyr Consortium. So the thing is that the Archmistress also goes, that's not going to last. This isn't going to last, and I'm going to get away rolling a nat 20 every time they start pushing against for their freedom. So she, knowing she had sacrificed a child, basically looked to the father of that child and goes, well, if it didn't come to me, it was a blood ritual, had to go to him. Goes out, kills her ex-husband. Flat out. Kills him. No Anchor. Anchor doesn't come to her. She's like, what the what? Hey, my husband, he's got 2 kids. These 2 kids that he's got must have gone to them. Follow the blood. At this point, she's got to move a little bit more stealthily as she can't let these Netherwings on to the fact that she doesn't have any way truly to control them at this point. Moves stealthily, eventually gets in close access within striking distance of these 2 kids, but takes a moment and is like, okay, I don't want to screw this up. Which one of them has the Anchor? Uses her magic to try to detect it. It's not on either one of them. Being the thinker that she is, and also the distrust that she had for her previous husband, she goes, damn it, the unfaithful bastard. He's got another child somewhere. Somewhere over his lifetime, he has had another child. Maybe before me, maybe there's a different firstborn out there that it fell to. Maybe there's just another one somewhere here in the world. And she kind of went back to the drawing board and goes, you know what? There's another conjunction coming up. I'm going to do a ritual. I'm going to formulate a ritual that no matter where it is in this world, it will pull the Anchor from whoever it's currently residing in and reattach it to my soul. Unbeknownst to her, the current wife of the man she murdered is pissed off. That's Ravinia. We did a live session at Gen Con 2 years ago where we played this out. It was called Losing the Sky, where Ravinia went and brought together a bunch of allies. And the one big thing that they brought with them was a thing called the Mirror of Secrets, which basically was a way to make a lie seem true by all detecting methods. Basically, to change someone's reality as long as you kept it a secret. And so, through an amazing battle and amazing rolls and luck and chance and D&D happened, it worked.
Brief excerpts of which are available on Periscope through my Twitter,
They are.
G9.
We actually have the kill scene on there.
We do.
So, basically, using the Mirror of Secrets, Axel's dad basically rewrote the Archmistress's memory, so she now thinks she has the anchor and stops pursuing it, when in fact Ravinia, that wife, the second wife of the man she killed, had it all along. It had fallen to her because the big thing that the party found out through the Eternal Keepers is soul magic is squirrely, first thing. But the big one is everyone, people like the Archmistress like to follow the blood. Soul magic is either about blood or it's about love. And what never occurred to the Archmistress was that her husband, her ex-husband, truly loved Ravinia. And so when she killed him, it didn't fall back to her following the blood. It fell to his true love, Ravinia. So, we clear on that? I know there was a lot there. Good guy, are you with us at all? Good guy.
So much has been illuminated.
Okay.
I follow.
Okay.
I would not be able to verbatim it.
Yep.
Follow.
Okay.
I have boiled it down to very basic figures in my head.
Yep. So the big thing is that 91 years ago, Archmistress is like, we're good. I've got the anchor. The Netherwings are under my control. They've got control of the sky. Make sure that the Zephyr Consortium aren't a problem ever, ever, never, ever, ever again. Ravinia knows she has it. She goes running away from anything associated with magic, the Arcana Mystica, pretty much civilization, as she was a druid at heart. Goes out and lives in the woods to go hide, because she knows that right now she carries this one piece of the puzzle to solving all of the world's problems. Those are the big things to know. So, those darn pesky Zephyr Consortium, they don't give up so easy. You know what? The sky, that would have been fun. You know where the future is? Plastics. No, the future...
Nice.
Yeah. The future... Oh, yeah, you know what? I can do this. Tell you what. For those who want to follow along at home, I'm fine with this.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah, plastics. So this is, the giant ass document that I'm doing.
One word. Plastic.
Plastics. No, it is railroads. So they're like, screw it. Screw the sky. Screw these dragons. The only thing standing between us and the other side of the continent is this big giant forest. Chop a big old straight road through it, and hunky dory. Make a big old arcane engine, put it on rails, and you know what? Welcome to the future. Monorail, monorail, monorail. They're excited.
Monorail.
Monorail, monorail, monorail. The Archmistress, of course, hears about this. She's like, y'all suck. But our buddy... Yeah, our buddies down...
She's very eloquent like that. Y'all suck.
Y'all suck. Mainly, yeah, she's very eloquent like that. That high elfin man, But anyway, so the humans, the tieflings... the Duke of Sunsets, because he's all about intervention, because he's hanging out up in this city called Darixis. He made the tieflings after the Chaos War in his own image. This is his city, a archfey living on world, hanging out up in his city of tieflings called Darixis. Think Paris in the 1800s. It's called the Twilight City. It gas lights, theater, opera. I mean, it's very avant-garde. Everything's all West Bank. They're doing musicals left and right. It's Moulin Rouge all over the place. He's all in for this. He's like, yeah, let's bring in the era of steam. Let's have arcane punk come to this world type idea. Arcane steampunk, whatever it would be called. Arcanopunk. He built this city on Fey rock and roll. Yep, absolutely. So you basically have the Arcana Mystica, who are like, don't build that road. You've got the humans, you've got the Zephyr Consortium, you've got the Tieflings going, we're going to build that road. And you've got this back and forth between the Arcana Mystica and the Zephyr Consortium as they basically cut this giant straight trench through the Midnight Weald. They're almost done with it when there's this giant, as part of that, the biggest thing that the Archmistress does is like, you know what, you're going to build that road, I'm going to cut you off from all of our teleportation. I'm going to try to disrupt your magic. And basically went and using the Arcana Mystica's vast power, basically blocked off all the ley lines, put sort of these arcane barriers to block off all the ley lines flowing into Darixis, which was sort of the seat of these warlocks' power, which have already been disparaged by them. And they pretty much cut them off, or tried to cut them off from magic. The piece of that the Arcana Mystica doesn't quite or underestimates is the fact that they've literally got an Archfey patron sitting in the middle of the city who's feeding them all the magic that they need. We get to almost the completion of the Vice. There's this giant explosion. Blows apart a huge crater over on the west side of the continent, sends this ripple of energy across the entire place, and Darixis basically gets blown to shreds. 90% of the Tieflings are wiped out, all but genocide. The city of Darixis, this giant capital city, this metropolis, is basically leveled. We have warlocks who weren't Tiefling warlocks, and warlocks who weren't necessarily in the city feel the severing of their connection to their patron. It's bad. Basically, it's like as though a nuclear bomb went off within this construction zone as they were building this road. It ain't good. So, other thing that happens, all of teleportation goes down. Ley lines are disrupted, and suddenly people using magic near this new road are getting all this backlash. Huge, wild magic, crazy effects that are happening by casting spells. Arcana Mystica, of course, concerned about this. She's trying to contain all this political fallout. But there's no denying that magic is broken, teleportation's non-functional, and stuff is bad. They start researching the Arcana Mystica, the best magic minds in the world, and they quickly realize that the destruction of Darixis and the near genocide of the Tieflings was basically because they'd put those barriers in place on the ley lines. And when those broke, it basically, every one of those barriers basically become a giant wall of arcane shrapnel that basically ripped the entire city apart. The equivalent of hundreds of thousands of magic missiles basically raining down and upon and through the city is pretty much what happened as those barriers broke. Pretty much, they knew that would. The Archmistress was like, okay, that could never get out. So basically, they create this cover story, which luckily some of their old legwork goes right into it. Basically, she deflects all of this blame onto the Tieflings themselves, basically the victims, and specifically the warlocks, because of using dirty magic. She also basically entangles the Zephyr Consortium in this whole story, that if they wouldn't have been doing all this work and using unapproved magic, or trying to subvert unapproved magic, or subvert the Arcana Mystica, that none of this would happen. And basically it was the downfall, began a huge discrimination campaign against tieflings in general, against innovation, against any sort of arcane technology, arcane blended technology. And we started entering into this era where suddenly this very high magic society has lost all of their major conveniences. You see the beginning of these caravans, a lot of the things that our party entered into in this world, that everyone's traveling by caravan, that magic is basically only used very sparingly, and certainly nowhere near the Vice. The Vice itself, people are like, well, we still got this road. All of the creatures within the Midnight Weald are starting to evolve and warp from this huge magic vortex that is discovered within the center of the Vice. And as our party has discovered over the course of playing for the last 3 years, basically what's happened is you have a ground fault of magic. Magic on this continent was polarized between the East and the West, with the Midnight Weald, this giant forest, acting as a giant sort of barrier, a resistor to keep the poles separated. Basically, it's like, when you drop a wrench across of a car battery, when they cut that road through the Midnight Weald, basically magic has shorted out and created this huge vortex within the middle of the Vice. Power surge, yep, pretty much. And during that original sort of explosion is when all the bad happened. So, for the next, for the next 40 years, 30 or 40 years, they're trying to just brute force fix this. They're like, we're the Arcana Mystica, we can come up with a way to fix this. The Archmistress is leading the charge on this. But they finally concede, you know what? We can't just brute force our way and force ley lines back there. We've got to do something to stop this just flow of magic, this shorting of magic at the middle of this road. So 49 years ago, the Archmistress leads a team of level 20 arch magi down to the entrance of the west side of the Vice, where the city of West that we know is built. And they're going to put up basically a giant arcane barrier. There's certainly some trepidation about that. As the last time they put up an arcane barrier, it had some bad effects. But at this point, they're like, you know what? We got to do it. They get down there, and as they start to cast a spell, who shows up? But Naltua. Naltua looking much larger, much healthier, much more powerful than before. She is flanked by her two consorts, who are massive as well. And basically they say, yeah, no, and lays down an ultimatum that the Vice must remain open. The Archmistress is like, well, what about, I'm going to, fine, I'll send you back to prison. I'll use the anchor. And now Tua basically goes, yeah, but it's not just me anymore. Not only has the Vice made them more powerful, made them far more fertile, and basically unleashes hundreds and hundreds of Netherwings out into the world. Basically, this huge flight of Netherwings fly out of the Vice into the world, and she basically says, "We're everywhere. You can try to recontain me, but we're taking all of you with us. We will destroy your world if you try to imprison us again." So we basically, suddenly, you now have the Netherwings and the Arcana Mystica basically at a stalemate, kind of in a Cold War. And basically the Archmistress slinks back to Balathera with her casters, and the Vice remains open. Then she faces a new wrinkle. About 8 years ago from current time, suddenly, to all members of every race across the world, start having these elemental babies, these genasi. A race that has never been in the world before starts to be born. Dwarves, elves, humans, tieflings, everyone, these humanoid, always humanoid looking genasi. In all of their genasi glory. So some with hair that's flaming hair, others with water. Still others, most all of them with their genasi sort of stigmata. I don't think that's the right name for it. Whatever those sort of the whatever markings. At first they're thought to be demons. They're thought to be this curse until some are starting to be born by noble houses and royalty. And eventually, instead of a lot of them, frankly, being snuffed out by, on birth by their, not handmaidens. What do you call a woman who helps? Nursemaids.
Midwife?
Midwives. A lot of midwives were just like, don't spank this one, type idea of midwives. They started, more and more and more and more and more being born. Of course, people do turn to the Archmistress because one's in both members of the Arcana Mystica and in Balathira, the same thing's happening. And as they began to investigate these children, they came across a discovery that would change the lives of every genasi for quite some time. That
dun dun dun.
You could harvest a genasi for their elemental core, which would let you harness the powers of the vice. And the Archmistress, having just been basically smacked hard by the Netherwings, go, you know what? You want to play that game? I'm going to turn the power I'm going to turn the power that you think you love against you. And starts a interesting little organization called the Temple of Purity, to start turning the population against genasi, same as she did for the tieflings, and to start harvesting the genasi. 21 years ago. Well, now we're getting into the real... things are accelerating. 21 years ago. It's the height of the genasi births, and the Archmistress is approached by a druid of a group of folks calling themselves the Indigo Seed. He says that he has a way to seal the vice. But he's going to need her help. And he invites the Archmistress to come down to their little commune and to see what they've been working on. The Archmistress at this point does not feel that she has the power or the force to take on the Netherwings if they in fact seal the vice. And so instead of going down herself, she sends down the High Enchantress, the Lord Diviner, and a fun little group called the Feeders, and slaughter all of Moss Hollow by basically throwing them into the air and letting the Netherwings feed upon all of those druids. Luckily, one tiefling druid escaped, named Valtyrion, and he carried with him the Indigo Seed, an actual seed, which contains pretty much the soul of the Midnight Weald of this forest, as well as the same energy that created the genasi and the energy that is still inhabiting Darixis. Luckily, that stayed a secret from the Archmistress, because otherwise that would have been bad. But, so that is when Moss Hollow fits into all of this. 17 years ago, the Archmistress once again has underestimated things that she has let loose on the world. She basically loses control of the Temple of Purity, as it have been filled with true believers, zealots. It's grown in power exponentially. Many, many churches have sort of united under the banner of the Temple of Purity. Because that influx of different faiths and believers, there actually there's a spike once again in divine influence, just because the number of people all believing in one thing empowers it. Unfortunately, when they get off the reins, they start practicing what they've been preaching, that the Genasi are evil, are stained, have no soul, and begin to cull the Genasi population. And for 3 years, basically, we see bonfires, almost like Salem witch trials, bonfires in in village squares across the countryside. It is a slow burn from west to east, as a lot of transportation and communication is broken down, but basically town to town, city to city, slowly the Genasi population is wiped out. This is when Luna's parents sent her away. It is when Celia's parents sent her and Terra away to try to hide them, save them, do something. But that all comes to an end at Falcon's Crest, when the culling ignites the population and ends at the place that Luna in fact visited, known as the Whale, when at the end of it all, it was almost like a slap in the face. People woke up to realizing what they were doing. Basically at the end of it all, the Archmistress comes out, denounces the Temple of Purity. What a horrible, horrible organization, because no one knows that they were involved. Lets the population tear them apart, reduce them down to just a bare semblance of they were, and then immediately starts taking control of them again, keeping the ruled chapters alive, making sure they are staying small, staying secret, and continuing their work, harvesting Genasi. We then are getting into parts of the story we know about. She hears about Bati and his incredible clockwork things, and makes a giant trade with him about the clockwork heart that he has plans for, and trades him Kir Lydron, Iskrin's old partner, as a trade for giving her that knowledge of how to create these clockwork hearts. And then Belief, the old Cathedral of Purity, the party has discovered basically her big move here, which is combining the clockwork hearts, the Genasi gems, parts of Netherwings, and Void runes, similar to Axel's own runes from the Lord Diviner, to create these abominations of that are the Void Forge, that are comprising her new army that she apparently is assembling in Balathera. So, I know, clear as mud, really long.
All this to say, this is a very happy campaign where we don't deal with serious topics.
Right. So, are there pieces that I've missed, pieces that you have more questions about, things that are not fitting together in your brains? It's too complicated. It's basically a Disney movie. Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all sums up.
Hunchback of Notre Dame was a Disney movie.
It
We
is.
haven't had our high school session as well.
Yep.
A lot of things are illuminated for me, although I'm not sure how accurate Axel's interpretations are.
Don't worry, Vidar's not accurate at all.
So, I mean, like I said, I think certainly Rian has been keeping tabs on the Archmistress. So a lot of the information I just gave you, I wouldn't have given you had it not been something that Rian would have known. There is some big pieces out there that you still don't have clarity on. The biggest one being, what the hell does Osmodius have to do with all of this?
Yeah, that's what I was going to
Yeah.
ask.
Osmodius, what's he
I
got
don't
to
know
do
the
with
answer to
anything?
that.
Osmosis has nothing to do with this campaign. Why
I'm
are you bringing it up?
a gonna guess. I don't know.
Look,
I
he's
mean-
He
gonna-
wants a kid. I don't know. Looks like a family guy.
hey, where else to create his own army in
Yeah.
this hidden away little
I mean, he's
seal?
got the house.
Oh, he's making an army, isn't he? Oh
I mean,
no!
it's
He's
like
gonna.
it's.
Hold on. Absolute guess in the dark. But if I'm right, I will say once again. Say I told you so. But
Oh,
Void Army, Archmistress. Archmistress can't die. He wants to possess Archmistress to take control of the Void Army. Boom, Demon Army. Boom, takes over the world.
Nah,
we
that's
don't
too
know.
easy.
Is that too far fetched?
Hey,
Well,
Why
I mean,
not?
he made
It's
a
all
deal to
far-fetched.
take our assassin out of commission, essentially. So
to make sure that the
yeah,
Archmistress
doesn't want her
stayed
killing
alive.
somebody.
Yeah, right now he's made a deal. So let's go over his deal.
Yeah.
He made a deal with Cilia for her not to interfere in the to not do anything to kill the Archmistress. Because as he specifically, I mean, his exact words, that he had baited a hook, and now that my prey has taken the bait, I will not have the likes of you foiling my plan to recapture what is rightfully mine.
Maybe
Does he want to own
he
Syria?
wanted to make a deal with the Netherwings, and she took his. He wants to be
Maybe.
Either that,
micromanaged.
or he is the one in charge of the Netherlands, but I don't think that's how it works.
Maybe. I don't think so. Never.
Theory crafting.
Theory crafting.
Yep.
I don't
He
know.
knows everything. He's got the flashes.
He
Trying
wants
to
to-
face.
It's the tree. I knew it.
So
The
here's one.
damn tree.
So here's one of the pieces that I will say. The back. So believe it, it wasn't just a side quest. At Elevation Pit, the skeleton of the Netherwing. The Netherwing was killed by a devil. So there is at least a circumstantial piece of evidence that back in the Chaos War, the devils and the Netherwings were on opposite sides.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Netherwings invaded, took the sky, meaning they control a lot of the world. Devils didn't want that to happen, so they went to fight. Devils lost because the Archmistress made the deal. And now he wants to be in the place of where the Archmistress is to get rid of the Netherwings and instigate invasion. And Elevation Pit might have been a base hold for that. Because that dude that was being summoned, big archdevil, probably some sort of general or something. Good place to have a nice stream of troops.
Yeah, we know that you were quickly getting a army of devils and fiendishly possessed up in Elevation Pit as we are moving closer and closer to, we're at T-minus 49 days in the campaign till all the shit goes down. So,
Well, I guess here's the question: does Asmodeus think Archmistress has that anchor, or does he know that she doesn't?
It's
You don't know.
Because if that's why he wants her, just like, oh yeah, you have the key, I get your soul, I get the key. You can do something with the wings, whatever. There's lots of other wings. There's lots of devils.
Maybe. The thing was to
I mean, we can go into theory and stuff, or we can go into if you have more like questions, because we actually do have some content today that will hopefully answer some of this.
That was actually a really good recap too.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Indeed, it was.
helpful? Was this helpful at all
Yes.
to remind people of what
Yes,
what all we've
definitely.
done? Okay,
It's important to know
100%.
who the big bad is and what her motivations are.
yeah, she is.
Yeah, we got
I
a
mean,
lot
so
of
far, I
clarity.
mean, let's just do a little psych profile of her right now. Archmistress, she wants power. I mean, she is sort of a power thing, but her big flaw is more than once now, she has felt that, she's all about order. I mean, let's alignment this out. She is absolutely lawful evil. She is all about control through order for her own selfish purposes. So, the big thing that she has done, she has felt with the Netherwings, with the Temple of Purity, all these times she keeps thinking that if she puts enough rules and order around things like emotion and faith and things like that, that she will be able to control it. In fact, I'm not sure if I stepped on this. The big secret that you all worked on with the Eternal Keepers, the keeper of the secrets of the realm, was that piece about soul magic, either following, the soul magic follows the lines of blood or love. So exactly, if we go back to our, that family tree that I was showing you, we followed blood or also love when when it jumped from Talarian to Dustin to Lily, was basically because it was following that souls can be connected through blood or they can be connected through love. That Talarian and Dustin, were blood brothers. Not even in true blood, but they had that relationship. And especially Lily and Talarian, she always loved him like an uncle. And so the anchor followed. So we ended up with the anchor following, love to Ravinia, blood to Kel, love to Talarian, and then love to Lily. I'm sorry, blood to Talarian, then love to Lily. Actually, blood and love because of Kel's attachment to his brother. So that big piece is, she felt that she could control the anchor because it was going to be guided just by blood and the rules of blood of, who is the son, who is the, who has their blood running in the veins. She could not comprehend that love could be so strong. With the Temple of Purity, she did not understand that hate and faith could be so strong. They basically all but foiled all of her plans by, if they would have exterminated the Genasi, it's not like any of those Genasi from the culling she was able to harvest. So she almost ended up having, again, faith and hate ruin her plan. So that's sort of where she has continued to fail to understand the outside of the realms of logic. So a little bit of character.
She hasn't watched enough anime.
She obviously has not watched enough anime.
I said she hasn't watched enough anime. No.
So, we want to take a breath, take a break. We can do our puns, unless we got more stuff. I mean, I am open to any and all questions. I mean, if there's any out there in the world, I understand. I get that I just dumped a whole lot on you. If there's anyone out there in chat who has questions, I have put. If you roll up, there is the link to the document itself. If you want to read it, I see lots of folks are in there. Feel free. There's a lot more detail in that. There's spelling and typos and all kinds of crap like in there. Just deal with it. I literally basically typed this out over the last 2 days trying to download from my brain. So,
All right.
how many players? You're seeing them. Actually, one more. And Jeanette. She will be joining us probably right about when we get back from break. Hopefully that works out that way, because then we can jump into playing. She has to work late. Exactly. My universe, I can spell it however I want. So for those of you who have enjoyed this walk and really quick and somewhat confusing rundown, which assumes that you've watched 400 hours of content, there will be a world book that I am slowly, very slowly, writing to capture all of this, and eventually I will be releasing it like on a DM's Guild for folks to be able to play campaigns in this wild and crazy world that I've created. There's Jeanette, 5 minutes out. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a quickie break. Then we'll do the recap of last week and get into a little bit of D&D. I will turn it over to our good friend NNG9. She's kind of freezing on and off. If either NNG9 or Bird versus Plane, actually, why don't we go with Bird to talk a little bit about our charity, and then we'll have NNG9 do our pun of the week.
Sure. Game to Grow is an organization that uses D&D and other role-playing games to help those on the autism spectrum, those with who have a difficult time socializing with others, or just people in general who need help kind of breaking out of a social bubble or even beginning to form one. They are a wildly successful program. The people running it are so passionate and believe wholeheartedly in what they do, and I absolutely love the program that they are running. If you can donate, that'd be awesome. We got a link down there in the doobly-doo. If you can't, zero worries. Hang out with us, have some fun. It's just really awesome to kind of like we're using D&D to give back in a way. It's awesome to see other groups recontextualize D&D and use it in different ways. This here with the Game to Grow, building empathy and building social networks for people who might otherwise have trouble doing so. Awesome org. If you can't donate, at least give their website a read and see if you can help out in any way or just spread the good word. And is Alicia back in action for Pun of the Week?
I'm here. I have no idea if I'm freezing right now or not.
I can hear you. Your image is froze, but I can hear you clear as bell.
Of course. Wondering if it might be better if I actually just camera. Then I have no idea if this will be better or not.
You sound solid right now.
Okay, we'll go with that. Hello, everybody. Before Pun of the Week, I'm actually going to do a recommendation, which is normally the guy's job, but he's not here, so we're going to go with me, and it's going to be anime related, because why not? If you are into shonen anime, you should definitely watch Hunter x Hunter. I am very late for this party, but Hunter x Hunter is excellent. It is fantastic. One of the best shonen animes I have ever watched. And yeah, like that's probably what I will actually buy all the seasons. It's real good. Yeah, that's my, by, I forget his first name, his last name is Tagashi, same guy who did Yu Yu Hakusho. Good stuff.
Is the soundtrack as good?
I don't think about it so much, but the music's pretty good too. I don't know if it's as good because Smile Bomb's kind of the tops. Like, you can't beat Smile Bomb. It's the best. But yeah, now that most of us are back, I think it's time for me to go ahead and do everybody's favorite segment, Pun of the Week.
Okay.
Why are onions so easy to make puns about?
Why?
Because they're pungent.
It brings, you know what? That brings tears to my eyes, Alicia. Tears.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, tears to my eyes. Okay.
I think I'm just gonna go sans camera since I think that might be slowing things down a bit for me.
Okay, no worries. I'll put up a lovely little picture of Luna. And if we don't have any more announcements, what we will do is we will roll that intro and then get to playing. So thank you all for joining us, and let's play some D&D. There we go. Hi, folks. Now we're back. Sorry, it took a second. I had to swap us to 7 cameras from 6 cameras, which, always confuses me. It's just the reality of my life. But anyway, thank you so much for hopping on in here with us. Welcome back. So let's hop into what the heck happened last week. Since we now know what's happened over the last 3 years, let's actually talk about what happened last week. Last week, our good friend Vidar Lykrin, basically, we were at the giant party that the group has been looking forward to literally for 3 years. Got an invitation 3 years ago to go to this party, to go and hang out with all of the elite of the world. And our good buddy Vidar Lykrin, at the end of a very solemn spiritual moment with all of the folks involved, pretty much just hopped up on the table and took a shit in the punch bowl.
Okay, look, technically, Vidal was invited to the party.
The mix overs.
You were kind of a part of... Actually, the only person truly invited to the party was Iska. You were a part of her entourage. And
I'm not going to crash the party, but...
Anyway, it did reveal some interesting things that the party had not dealt with or had knowledge of before. The big one being, as the Vicereine escorted our good buddy Vidar Lykrin. Wow, that was not the right thing to do. Vidar Lykrin, I should have done that in studio mode. Vidar Lykrin out of the party. I'm so distracted. Sorry. I need to get into studio mode and do this right, and it's not going to work now, so never mind. Escorted... Take 2. The Vicereine basically escorted Vidar Lykrin out of the party, saying, hey, I want to hear all about these crazy things you're talking about prophecies and all that kind of stuff, because, I'm into that jam. That's kind of the stuff that I'm very interested in. Please tell me more about who you and your party really are, because I'm sure that I don't have any nefarious intentions about that I'm going to have with that information that you are now giving me. Our good buddy Kyle rolled some D20s, rolled very poorly on those D20s, so did not detect pretty much of everything from the fact that she was listening into his thoughts, that she was getting vials of poison from his good buddy Linfort, who, of course, the fact that she was pretty much playing him and milking him for every bit of information he could possibly have. Luckily, our good buddy Luck, who is friends with the Drow contingent, his good friend Mademoiselle Audenoir was like, oh, I thought you were such a pure guy. You and your party are hanging out with like the really sketchy people. I'm proud of you, boy. And Luck was like, what? And so basically she was like, you do realize that the Vicereine isn't just the husband of the Viceroy. She's in fact the head of the group known as the Masked Dragon, who the party basically ran into and, pretty much wiped out back when they first went to Falcon's Crest, and who they were hiding from for quite some time. Luck passed that on to the rest of the party. The rest of the party is like, hey, Vidar just left with that chick. Through some tense moments, Vidar had some discussions, revealed even more things about the party that the party might not have wanted the Vicereine to know, but they did find out that she, in fact, is one of these other people who is following the same prophecy of then, that she does believe that she is the Reborn, basically the same title or role that Luck believes that he is fulfilling in his destiny. She drugged him. He drunken dimension doored, and we moved the camera over to some other folks that are other folks in the party. Our good buddy Axel and Iska and Luna went back to go turn in for the night because it's been a long damn day. It's about 1 in the morning, taking along with them Lily and Riley. And as Axel's getting ready for bed, he reaches into his bag of holding, and when he pulls his hand out of the bag of holding, it is covered with blood, which doesn't seem to be a good thing. Across the conclave, Luck feels this presence, a presence that he's familiar with, as though he is trying to be a devil or fiendish presence trying to take over his mind. He shrugs it off like a champ because he rolled like incredibly well. But Axel, being Axel, is like, hey, this isn't good. Let's see what else is in here, and turns his bag of holding inside out, dumping basically 20-30 gallons of demon blood onto the floor of the room in the Magic Mansion, basically ankle deep in demon blood. Luna shapes it as a water genasi, into a bubble. Axel uses one of his dragon runes to basically put it in stasis. Luck, who has been fighting this presence and got magnitudes worse when it became this giant, such a large amount of demon blood, still shrugs it off, makes it back to the mansion, the magical tavern of their buddy Rian, stumbles in the door and goes, what the hell is going on? Speaking of turds and punch bowls, Axel's turd in a punch bowl that he has been holding on to all the way back since Elevation Pit is the blood crystal, which was part of the crystal cavern where that devil we were talking about before had been locked away. And instead of it being purified, it was still a pure crystal of demon blood that has been apparently infecting his bag of holding for quite some time. Yeah, not good. So, Axel, because he's just gotten his level 5 spells, 6 spells, whatever, level 6 spells, cast a Disintegrate on said crystal, blows it to smithereens. We've got this giant orb of blood that we're trying to get rid of. The Luck, Luna, and Axel do a simultaneous attack using silver, which they know the devil blood is certainly vulnerable to. Luck using his radiant damage as an Aasimar, popping out his wings, and Axel basically holding everything in place and ready to strike if he needs to. Destroy this blood. It basically turns to soot and ash in their room, and they finally take a breath and they look around. And lo and behold, laying on the ground from way back is the bow known as Druid's Brain that had been conjured from the cursed ring that Kel wore, and they thought had been locked away safely in a vault by one of the Arcana Mystica on the other side of the continent. As Axel goes to grab it, it slides across the floor away from him towards the door, trying to get away. Iska takes Lily and Riley and get them out of here. In fact, she'd taken them out even before all this stuff with the blood went down. Took them downstairs to get them as far away from what was going on as possible. Luck tries to grab it. Luna tries to grab it. They can't. It keeps sliding away from them, just sort of evading their grasp. Finally, they synchronize their attack, sort of triangulate it, and finally get a good strike in on it. It does seem to repel that attack, but right at that moment, Lily, somehow having gotten away from Iska, bursts through the door, and the bow basically leaps to try to get to Lily. Who we now know is carrying the anchor that we had talked about before. This bow being Talarian's, who she considered her uncle, the pathway by which she gained the anchor. Luck, making an incredible strength saving throw, holds on to it, and basically is standing there with this bow with every bit of his strength, even making a 24, just barely past the DC on this, holding it back as this bow, this cursed item, now having been empowered by devil blood, is attempting to jump and bind itself to Lily. I'm going to get Luna's picture so we can see it. And with that, I think we are going to, unless there's any questions, we are going to jump into the fun.
Yay.
And I need everybody to roll initiative.
Have fun, you guys.
Don't worry, I need everybody, please. Actually, let me clear the, sorry, let me clear it.
Really? I'm so surprised.
I need everybody to roll initiative.
Yeah,
Vidar is Vidar currently is trying to take a long rest within his delusion that he is in the hanging cells of Falcon's Crest. Cilia,
Going back to 9 HP.
we will, yeah. So, yep. If you have not
Really is
rested,
somewhere in the void
yep. Cilia
with her
is
sister.
walking through the void with her sister, having yet to arrive.
And at disadvantage.
Wasn't that in the morning when she was doing that?
Yep, that was the thing. She had arrived, basically stepped out into the morning light.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, so literally, currently, she is ahead in time with us.
Runes. Yay. Audience initiative, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
Yeah. Oh boy.
It's just Luna we're waiting on.
Seems like a 15 for me.
Yes.
15 for Luna. Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, the dice roller is very, very slow. Oh, look at that.
That's a big number.
So, Luna, you were on 15? You just hand rolling?
That's correct.
And that's fine.
15.
We're
Yep,
going to
I
be
just
doing
hand-rolled.
Yeah, we're going to do some hand rolling today, folks, because with everyone using Roll20, it is being very, very slow. 25. Look at that. So, currently, where we are, Luck holding the bow, Luna and Axel sort of right behind him. It is pulling its way towards Lily, who is standing in the doorway. We have Iska standing right behind Lily, having probably chased her up the stairs. I do need you to roll for Riley, as he probably would have followed. I think he would have followed Iska up the stairs as well. And I'm actually going to get Lily in this as well, because she's going to need to be a part of this.
What are you doing to my future stepdaughter, Jay?
Hey, man. So I slash roll 1d20 plus 3. Look at that, Lily doing pretty well. She learned from her stepmom. Do you have do you want me to do Riley, or you got him?
Yeah, the character sheet is an opening, so
Okay, yep.
if you could do that real quick.
I have no idea what his plus is.
Yep.
Oh, I got it. I'm able to get it up. He has just plus
14.
1 on initiative. Okay, you got it? Cool.
Yep. I just didn't get on token.
Okay, cool.
Sorry.
No worries.
Eating and drinking and talking at the same time.
There we go.
There we go.
Perfect. Okay, let's get in descending order. Druid's Bane, I'm going to say, made its leap. Axel used Luck used his reaction to get it there, so we're going to start with Axel as we are here in the room as this is all unfolding.
So, at the moment, his animated net has gotten it tangled up and is pulling it back. What do I have? And I've got to run through what I've got at the moment. That's a minute, isn't it? 10 minutes. You know what? I don't know if this will work. Oh, it's concentration. Magic, man. Magic restrictions.
Magic. It's a thing.
Work well. Magic restrictions are great.
Luck, you're on deck.
Yes, sorry. I don't really have a lot that he can do. He is going to go through his bag. Actually, no, he's going to go through all the stuff that's at the corners of the room. He is looking for a scroll. There's a lot of shit that's sorry. There's a lot of stuff on the ground. So
oh yeah, it's literally littered. Hey, and we got inspirations for everybody from Hawkeye. Thank you, Hawkeye.
Like he doesn't know what he can do.
So that's cool. Yeah, if you want to just run around and start seeing what you can find and everything that was in your bag that is now laying on the floor.
Yep. Just to clarify, he is going for the imprisonment scroll. Just so you guys know.
Okay, cool. Good call.
Because that's. I mean, this thing got out of whatever the prisoner was in before.
I like it. Luck, you are up.
This thing's taking all my strength right now, isn't it?
Yep, you are right now basically to just try to hold on to this. To keep holding on to it and not let go, you would need to do another strength check. Basically to keep it grappled and it not escape. It's going to be contesting you to try to get away from you.
Is it possible that I can get the net to anchor itself to something solid in the room? Is there anything solid in the room that it can sort of pull against?
Because it is a magic mansion, you could use your turn to conjure something, but currently it's just furniture and things like that. But you could literally conjure with your mind, but it would take your action to basically put pad eyes on the wall that you could tie it off to or whatever.
Okay. He's already doing his searching, so
yeah,
that's good to know.
Alright,
so you're going to try to maintain your grapple?
Yeah, we're gonna activate this as well, but as a bonus action.
Okay.
Potency.
Nice.
Let's do mutation score by 3. Yeah.
So yeah, as you're holding this, you down this potion, this mutation liquid, as your muscles bulge even bigger than they normally are, and you are straining against this bow as it is trying to wiggle its way out of your grasp.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna try my best to hold it down. Maybe even try and push it down to the floor.
Okay.
So I can get my foot on it.
So roll me a strength check.
All right.
Sorry.
25.
Ooh, on a 14, yeah, you are able to wrestle it down to the ground, but it is still trying to squirm out of your grip. Next up is Lily. Lily has just burst in the room and basically has said, what are you doing with my uncle's bow? I believe Luna, I think, yelled for her to get out of there. She needs to make a wisdom saving.
She did.
You were, yeah. On an 8, she seems fixated on the bow and begins to walk forwards towards Luck. Iska, as you are up next, you can use your action to try to intercept her if you'd like, but she is now starting to walk towards this bow that she recognizes as her uncle's bow, and that seems to somehow be calling her.
I use the for what was formerly known as the Hound Tongue Whip, which is now the Shadow Tongue Whip, which I can command to do certain things as the free action.
Yep.
And I'm going to command it to begin to wrap around Lily as a free action. At the same time, I am going to play Urania's tune, which is Rope Trick.
Oh, nice.
So I'm going to use it as a rope trick to create an extra dimensional space, hopefully wrap Lily up, and then probably next turn, so I don't do too many things on one action.
Yeah.
I'm going to hopefully pull her back into that extra dimensional space to just kind of give them some distance.
Yep.
And yeah.
So I need a performance check on casting the rope whip, but yeah, as a bonus action, you wrap one end of the rope around Lily and basically cast rope trick on the other to try to get it to summon this transdimensional space. On a natural...
I'll burn a luck. I'll burn a luck.
Going from a nat 20, tell me how your panic turned into success.
Oh, it's just real. I mean, I've learned from watching Luna. This is mom mode. This is no, they can't. I'm not gonna let the cursed bow and arrow take over this tiny little girl. No, you go get her.
That's right. You take care of your future little sister.
Is this what Luna feels like all the time? Oh my god, this is stressful.
So yeah, that's your action. Lily is now, her advancing towards the bow has basically been halted by being wrapped around the trip. The other end of the rope soars up into the air. Your other end of your whip becoming a rope soars up into the air, and you see it disappear into this extra dimensional space up above your head. As you are up on the second floor of the inn, there is sort of it's a 2-story sort of atrium area. You can look down and see the bar. You see the commotion is drawn. Rian and Nate, they're kind of wondering what the heck is going on. Next up, Luna. You see this happening in front of you.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So seeing that Lily, at least for the time being, is taken care of, Luna's just gonna. So I'm sorry. So Luck was able to successfully pin it to the floor.
He didn't get all the way down the floor, but he's
his
basically
trick,
he's pulled it closer to his body and is trying to force it down to the floor. I'd say he's all but got it to the floor. He hasn't gotten his foot on it or anything yet.
Would it be possible? Would it be possible to make my attack so that I'm kind of helping force it down? So making sure I don't hit Luck, but just kind of punching down at this bow. She's just going to go barehand it.
Okay, yeah. No, I would say you can do that.
Yeah.
Basically
Right,
sort
so
of beat
that's
it
what
into
she'll be,
submission.
doing.
Yeah.
Yep. Strength save's not my thing, but I can attack it.
Yep.
No, I just got to what by 2 hit is that. Okay, there it is. Give me a minute.
Yep.
Oh, not that. 1, 2, 3. So that's a 26.
That'll hit.
And then I'm pretty sure a 10 doesn't.
No, a 10 does not hit.
And then the other one's only 14.
Okay, and the other one doesn't hit. So you come swinging around, land a good shot on it.
Okay,
but
the first one does. Okay.
Yeah, the first one does hit. You get a good shot on it, but as soon as you hit it the first time, it seems to become aware of your presence and basically is able to dodge your other 2 attacks. Rotating Luck's wrist and twisting and turning out of the way so that you help him get it down a little bit further, but the other 2 attacks you all but whiff and swing past it. Riley. Unless you've got something else you'd like to do. Those are your attacks. Do you have a bonus?
Nah, that's it.
Okay. Riley. Oop.
No, yeah, that's it.
You sure? Okay. What do you want Riley to be doing? Would he be coming into the room? Would he be curious?
After hearing Lily being shoved out to get back and pulled back, he is going to sort of put himself in the doorway. He looks over to sort of Iska. Axel's doing Axel things, searching through things. He's a bit confused in the doorway, like Nate and Rian, really.
Okay. So yeah, he basically just makes himself a physical barrier between Lily and this bow in the door. Is that what I'm hearing?
I think he would do that, absolutely.
Yeah. So he just locks himself onto both sides. You actually see his warforged, his rune-forged form, as it is somewhat malleable. His fingers sort of lock into the top and his feet lock into the bottom, grabbing on to the structure of this door in the Magic Mansion.
Yeah.
Vidar, you are awakened.
There's so much psychic screaming going on that he wakes up beside his tree. Just like, what the hell is happening?
You're actually deeper out in the forest than your tree. You are in a clearing, and you are shaken awake. Even though you heard this screaming, you were heavily drugged. You are shaken awake. There is a tall, very well-dressed, even more well-dressed than Vidar, dark-skinned, well-coiffed gentleman with a very just beautifully groomed goatee, sort of wavy black hair, very tailored overcoat jacket, who basically shakes you awake and goes, "I need you, idiot," and just slaps you across the face, and you are instantly, the feeling of being drugged is gone. He then throws you backwards after he's like grabbed you by the collar in his face, throws you backwards. You fall backwards through space. You're like, how am I falling this far? And with a huge thunk, and this weird sulfurous smell, you land down on the floor of the inn. You've had a short rest, not a long rest, but your head is clear. You're welcome. You've had a short rest, but not a long rest. And you are basically down on the first floor. You've landed sort of in the middle of this common room. You hear all the commotion up above you. You are prone at this point, but you can sort of get a feeling of your surroundings.
He stirs, rolls over. I try to look towards the commotion.
Okay.
Can I see any of them?
Go ahead and do a perception check.
Groggy, I have no idea what's going on. 13.
On a 13, it is that when you wake up from a deep sleep and you're like, where am I? Who am I? What's going on? You do have that recognition that you had probably been drugged, but oddly, your head is way clearer than it should be, having been under the influence that you were under. But that's pretty much what you're going to be able to do on this move.
Cool. He's going to get up and try to stagger on towards where all the shouting's coming from.
Yep, you can start your way up the stairs as it takes half your movement to get to your feet. You basically get probably halfway up the staircase, heading up to that second floor.
Can I just dimension door?
You can if you want to. You don't know exactly where they are because it worked out so well for you last time.
It worked out so well. I was just gonna yell out, "What the absolute hell is happening?"
Okay. No dimension door? I'm sure it'll be fun.
Let's do it.
Okay. Where are you dimensioning door to?
I'm going to from off the 13 perception, wherever the loud shouty noises are coming from.
Okay. Basically, roll me a dexterity saving throw at disadvantage.
Can I spend an advantage and get a straight roll?
I'll let you spend advantage to get a straight roll. On a 25, you do actually you land it. You find yourself landed in the room. However, Luck, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no.
I'm gonna burn an inspiration, I think. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Just pops into the room and just eye to Luck, just like,
Oh no.
what the ever living fuck.
On a 16, you don't lose hold of the bow, but it wrenches your arm around as suddenly Vidar is in the room with you, because that's where the shouting was coming from, and just lands right in between Luna, yourself, here in this room. Suddenly there is a Vidar in your face as you're trying to wrestle this bow down to the ground, and Luna's punching on it, and then there's Vidar.
Oh, my shoulder, Vidar, you absolute and utter fool!
Cilia.
I thought I was in trouble.
It's morning. The birds are chirping. It's lovely. It's a lovely day, the conclave around you. And you hear a voice behind you. Your services are needed. You turn around, and you see a familiar dark-skinned figure, well-coiffed, well-tailored, well-tailored, as Asmodeus takes a bow and opens a portal and goes, your friends are going to need you.
She kind of gives him a strange, look, like, okay, and she will pull weapons and walk through.
You walk through. Do you have Tara wait, or do you have her come with you?
I have her wait.
You tell Tara to stay there. I know I keep saying Tara because that's Nick's wife. I'm sorry. You tell Tara to wait, and she kind of looks at you strangely. You can see the recognition in her eyes of Asmodeus. And as you step through and you find yourself in the outside, actually, you are not, his portal does not send you directly into the inside of the tavern. You are find yourself in the courtyard outside. You do hear yelling, and you hear Luck's booming voice scalding Vidar for being an absolute idiot, which is par for the course.
Oh yeah. Okay, then yeah, I'll run inside and I'll dash.
You go double dashing in, you make it inside. You hear all the commotion up the stairs. You see Iska there with the rope wrapped around Lily going into the rope trick space. You see Riley has taken either side of the door frame, and as you come dashing up, you basically are just at sort of the end of this hallway. Kind of think of like a outside hotel. It's sort of like sort of open balcony. There's railings that lead down to one side and then the doors on the other. As you come sort of skidding around the corner, certainly within range of whatever's happening. And anything else you would like to do as you dash, that's your action and your bonus action. Yeah, I think that's it. So.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay.
Yeah, since that's my bonus on my action.
It is Druid's Bane's turn. Druid's Bane is wrestling around back and forth inside of Luck's hand. He's become somewhat distracted as it's wrenched away and started heading towards Lily again. And in an instant, you see it transform from a bow down to a ring, and it goes slipping through your fingers and goes shooting out towards the door. It did seem to take up some of its... yes? Vidar?
Did it move? It's moving.
It has it has not moved yet. It is starting to dash basically towards the door, towards Lily.
If it passes me,
Yep.
I would like to attack it.
It's in the room, so probably the only person who has got it right now, it would be Luck, to try to use his reaction.
Well,
Oh,
if
what?
would I be
Wouldn't I be able to use my reaction too?
Melee.
It is it is exiting. The thing is yes, you can it is exiting your space, so you do have opportunity attacks. However, it is a very different target than it was before, so it's going to be hard to hit.
wonderful. I would like
That's
it to make
fair
a
enough.
wisdom saving throw.
So wait a second. Let's go down of our opportunity attacks in order. Luck, you've got the first one. If you'd like to make an opportunity attack to try to re-grab it. So you will need to make a dexterity. Is it a saving throw to catch something as it goes flying away from you? I'll say it's a saving throw. Let's use a dex save. It slips through your fingers and goes zipping off. Next up, as we go down in order, Luna. You were punching this bow. You missed it, whiffed it twice. It wrenched Luck to the left, and then now you have your ability to make an opportunity attack as it's now become this tiny ring shooting through the air.
In that case, I'm going to guess an 18 isn't going to hit it.
19 does not hit it. Vidar. Go ahead.
Two questions. Can Riley get an opportunity attack, and can the net get an opportunity attack to try and snatch it again?
I would say that it can fit through the nets, so he'd just fit through the holes in the net. Riley certainly can get an opportunity attack as it tries to pass by him. Vidar is up. No, I'm sorry. I guess Vidar is closer. So as it's leaving Vidar's range, let's because everyone else was clumped right in the order. So Vidar, it is your turn. What were you wanting to do? I know you had more than just an attack. You were saying you thought you had.
Yeah, I'd like it to make a wisdom saving throw, as I'd like to invoke it with Elevation's Corruption. Finally, I can cast that spell.
So what is this that you're
Cursing it?
Put it in there. What is it?
So Bestow Curse.
Okay, it's not. Is Bestow Curse a reaction?
No, but it is a spell, and as a warcaster, I can use it as a I can use an action, one action spell to do the casting thing.
Cast a touch spell.
But it was next to me at the time of the needing to do something.
Ooh, okay.
He is trying to curse a cursed ring.
Yes. I'm laying it up.
This will go great.
You know what?
I love that.
I'm here,
I love that.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean, this is great. This is taken from actual Archdevil curses, from
Just
the corruption
like the
from Elevation.
ring.
Okay.
Not that he knows that.
So, what ability score are you trying to curse it with? It looks like it. Are you having a disadvantage? Which way are you trying to curse it?
So the way I'm trying to do it is, the target must make wisdom saving throws at the start of its turn. If it fails, it wastes the action doing nothing, which is the third point down.
Okay.
They'll turn to ones.
Okay. So basically, confuse it. Okay. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm here for this.
Like, Vidar himself is just confused, so he's just laying the energy on thick, seeing the bow, just be like, I know that. I'm going to take some of that demon blood and just smear it on that before it leaves me. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
And as it has resistance to magical effects because of magical item, so it will have advantage on this. Let's do the first one. What's it? Yeah. Oh, I can do an up arrow, and that makes it do it again, doesn't it? There we go. So on a 26, I'm assuming it beats your. Yeah. So unfortunately, this ring is. Its magical nature, its cursed nature, is not affected as it goes zooming out of your range and starts heading towards the door. Riley is able to make an opportunity attack as it, not as it enters, but as it exits out the other side to try to get to Lily.
Can he make a strength check? Can he make it a grapple instead to try and snatch it?
I forget, Luck. We've ruled on this before. Can a grapple be a opportunity attack?
No, because it's classed as a special action.
Gotcha.
All right.
So no.
Yeah.
No worries. No. Okay.
He can try. I mean, he can try to punch it, hit it, to whack it, to redirect it.
Yeah.
On a 21 with his iron fist, that actually does hit. Go ahead and roll me damage.
Whack.
Mainly just to see how hard he hits it. On a 7, basically, yeah, he does whack it, and it goes sort of skittering away from Lily, but basically catches itself and then starts to head back, but it doesn't have enough movement to make it Lily. So it is basically floating down the hallway opposite Celia. So right now in the hallway, we have the lineup. Celia at the top of the stairs. Iska next up, basically with the whip going up into the rope trick, the other end going to Lily. Lily standing in basically right behind Riley, who's in the door, the ring on the far side, and then inside the room we have Luck, Luna, and Vidar sort of all in a scrum in the middle. We have Axel, who is sort of searching the room. Speaking of, Axel, you are up.
All right. He will find the scroll.
Do me an investigation check. There's a lot of stuff on the ground here.
Yeah, if he can, he'll try and find it. He'll be finding it. That was last round. How long does it take to roll?
You can make a hand roll if you'd like. Or there it is.
11.
On an 11, I'm going to say it probably takes you your whole action and bonus to find it, but you do locate it.
For this turn or for last turn?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because you used your turn last turn. So yes, you're good. So you've got it in your hand.
Sweet. He is now that it's out of the. He is going to try something else now that it's useless against the net. He's going to try. I mean, it might not work. It's a hold monster.
Go for it. Currently, you cannot see it. Isn't it line of sight?
I have to see it, of course. Yeah.
But, I mean, you have your movement. Certainly, with 30 feet of movement, you can get out the door. You're going to have to sort of squeeze around Riley. Having just made his smack, I'd say he's not completely blocking the door, and you are Tabaxi.
Yeah, he's going to scramble up and hold onto the door frame and sort of perch himself on Riley, half on the door frame.
Okay.
And so he's got sight over Riley's shoulder, and he's going to try and cast that.
Yeah, so you literally scramble up the wall, stick the top half of your body through one arm outreach, sort of through the gap between Riley's head and his shoulder, reaching around the corner, and go ahead and do the... what is it? It's a wisdom. Do I have to make a wisdom again?
It is a wisdom, but he is going to modify the spell.
Okay.
With alchemical casting.
Okay.
You could actually see his fur sort of ruffles, and you actually get like a scent of burnt fur.
Okay.
As there is a clearly overcharged spell, as he overpowers the spell, so it's +2 on the DC.
Ooh, okay. You see this energy flow through him, and we know what his wisdom save is, so he does have advantage as it's a magical effect.
Yep, that's fine.
18, I assume, does not make it with your DC. What's your DC?
It does not. 19.
You
It was that overpower did it.
So yeah, you see the ring become sort of locked in place. It does seem to be spinning inside of it. You are seeing a familiar glow that occurred back in Falcon's Crest as you watched Eva do her work very closely. It looks like it is building up the same way when she first held it after cutting off Kel's hand. It looks as though it is starting to energize itself for basically a teleportation, like it did out of Eva's hold back after she cut off Kel's hand to get it off detached from him.
Magic circle takes too long.
I believe that's everything you got. Yeah.
Yep. That's his turn. Bonus action, nothing. He shouts out, "It's going to leave. It's going to teleport."
Luck, you you saw the ring go shooting past you. There is a whole lot of Warforged and Tabaxi butt in the doorway but that's the way the ring went.
Yep. I've got good and bad idea.
Go for it.
Right. I think I believe I still have this on me. Let me just double check my inventory. I do. I have my unbreakable crossbow bolt.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, just Riley would have pulled down one hand that he was bracing against the door, but yeah, he's still Riley in the doorway.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say Riley's big, Luck is big. There's gonna be a little bit of maneuvering, but if you're gonna try it, what are you gonna do?
Okay. Luck is going to reach into sort of this side pocket where he always keeps it just because it's an unbreakable crossbow bolt. It's always useful to pin stuff to other things.
Yep.
So he grabs that, sort of pulling out of his pocket and just charges in that direction. And the first thing he's going to do is try and see if he can smack this ring from teleporting. Just
okay. So basically, if I'm understanding this, you are basically trying to, put the unbreakable crossbow bolt through the ring, pin it to the floor.
Yeah.
First, you got to get by Riley. So you can either bowl through him, or you can either strength check past him, or you can bowl him over him and Axel, or you can try to kind of maneuver your way around him. So either an acrobatics.
I'm going to have to apologize. I'm going to have to shoulder check. But
okay, athletics. Go ahead and do me athletics check as you're going to shoulder check through him.
Ooh, I reroll those.
You get to reroll ones on a 19.
Nice. Do you want me to do an opposed?
I think you do an opposed just because he's not expecting to get hit. And he's pretty solid boy. And he's already kind of locked himself in.
He's confused. 15.
On a 15, though, you drop your shoulder and just go blasting through him. And, Riley gets kind of bowled over. I will say he keeps his feet since he only missed by 4. If it would have been 5, I'd said he went prone. I need Axel to make a dexterity saving throw to see whether
No, he's off.
Yeah,
I was going to make that already.
Do me another one to see whether you catch the rail or whether you fall all the way to the ground floor.
Yeah. Ground floor. I mean, he's in the room.
Right, but you just got checked out of the room over the rail.
Gotcha.
Because Luck is going out of the room. On a 9, you scramble to catch it, but you fall to the ground down on the lower floor. What is the range of Hold Monster?
I mean, I think once you cast it, it stays.
90 feet.
90 feet for stays,
90
and then it's just their wisdom saying that it doesn't have to stay in line of sight or anything.
It doesn't. No.
Okay, cool. So it's still held. I do need you to go ahead.
Concentration.
Yep.
Being bowled out the door.
Yep, being bowled out the door. You got to just make it 10 or higher.
I'm going to use. Do I have? I'll use an inspiration on it. I think if I need it. Oh, it's concentration. Yeah, I'll use an inspiration.
So you used a inspiration?
Yep.
You're going to use an inspiration?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So roll a d12.
Big numbers.
That was a big number.
3 or better. On a 12. as you go over the side, you do take. It's only one story. You do take 2 points of bludgeoning damage as you hit the ground, but you are able to maintain concentration at this empowered spell and knowing what a dire situation is going on. You keep your eyes on it even as you fall. As your head slams in, you never take your eyes off of it and basically have this thing trapped in your sight. Luck. It is still in the hold monster as you go to attack, so it does not have advantage to dodge you. Normally it would.
Improvised weapon attack. I believe it's paralyzed, isn't it?
It's technically paralyzed.
It's sort of. I mean, basically, what I've done is it's you don't have disadvantage on this attack, and it's but its AC is it's still it's hitting a crossbow bolt through the eye of a ring that's spinning.
Yeah. Right.
Chris, is it auto crit?
17.
On a 7.
Okay, that's going to be a miss, I think.
On a 17, you get right next to it, but just as it's about to go through, it tings on the side of it and slides by.
I got a second attack.
Okay.
Come on. 21.
On a 21, as it spins around, you go take back right through the eye of it. Where are you pinning it to? Wall? Floor?
Floor. Just straight down.
You see it stuck on thing. It is still held, so it doesn't really move, able to move on its own. You see it basically doing that weird thing of like, around the ring. You do see it still glowing. It's getting brighter and brighter as you see it, and you have it now pinned to the floor. You are not. You look at.
I don't know if this is going to work, but I have one bonus action for this.
Okay, go for it.
I am going to try my channel divinity on this.
Ooh, okay. To do, I forget what your channel divinity is.
Champion challenge.
Oh.
It compels another creature to battle with you. Each creature of your choice that you can see within 30 feet of you must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature can't willingly move more than 30 feet away from you.
Okay. So that's my D20 plus 7. Let's see what we got here. What's it rolling against?
It's rolling my charisma, so it's a spell off save of 15.
15, okay. It's thinking. It's thinking. Come on, D20. Do the thing. I can hand roll this. There it goes. 24.
No.
Nope. Unfortunately, you basically start screaming at it. It does not seem to pay you any mind.
Okay. It's my action.
Okay. It is Lily's action. She is wrapped up in this rope, but she needs to make a wisdom saving throw as she turns her head and looks at the ring there upon the bolt. Come on, Lily. On a 5, she starts trying to pull out, try to take the rope off of her. However, she's fairly well entangled by Iska's magical whip. But she starts reaching out for this ring, trying to get down the hallway, trying to all but call it to her. Iska.
Sorry, I'm deciding between two decidedly different courses of action. Golly. Okay, there's a lot of people focused on the ring. I'm gonna try to get Lily on board.
Okay.
So I'm going to have her roll a charisma saving throw.
Okay.
As I'm gonna try to calm her emotions and try to break whatever hold the ring has on her.
Okay. It's a charisma saving throw?
Yes.
She is pretty charismatic.
Okay.
Sweet little girl. $13.
She fails. So She should suppress strong emotions, get rid of charmed or frightened,
Okay, so it gets
make
rid
a target indifferent.
it gets rid of charmed. So you see, she kind of looks around and kind of looks at you, and Iska, why am I tied up?
Because you're going bye-bye for just a second. Rope, go! And I'm going to pull her completely into that extra-dimensional space.
Okay.
Just so she's completely removed for a minute.
Okay.
And since Luna's up next, turn to Luna and just go, this is incredibly hard to do. Please take care of that thing. And Bardic Inspiration her.
Okay. Roll me a performance check to see whether you're able to get her all the way up inside of there. As you're basically, it's like an old fashioned you on a natural 20. Yep, Lily just zips right up through the extra dimensional space. The other end of the whip just sort of hanging down out of the space so that you can still access her, and she's not lost in the space. Luna, you're up.
All right, my plans have changed like 3 times. Cool. So I'm just going to go back to doing what I do best, which is punch something until it stops being a problem.
Okay. So you're going to go try to punch the ring?
Yeah, I don't know what else to do in the situation, honestly.
Okay.
Because the bolt Luck used was unbreakable, right? So it shouldn't risk dislodging it, correct?
Yeah, it's unbreakable bolt.
Okay.
I mean, it is stuck in a floor, so it can get dislodged from the floor. But I mean, you're punching a very small thing. I mean, that's the question. It's not an immovable rod. It is an unbreakable bolt. 2 different things.
That's fair
Freeze the
point.
floor.
Huh? What?
Freeze the
Change
floor.
the floor?
Freeze.
But it's unbreakable, not unmovable. So is me freezing the floor going to help or hinder?
Welcome to try whatever you'd like.
Yeah, I know. Decisions. You know what? Can I use this opportunity since it's locked in place? Can I also add ice block around it, like form water around it and freeze it?
Ooh, absolutely. Yep.
That's what she will do.
Cool. So you basically conjure up your water, being a water genasi, and basically just now freeze the whole rod, ring, all of it.
Yep.
Not rod, bolt, ring, etc. into I think you can do a 5x5 or a 10x10 at this point, this level.
At this point, since I took 5, I can do 15x15 because I think we said it was 5 each level.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, you put in a 15x15 cube of ice, you probably would get luck in that.
Okay,
I'll take
do
it.
10.
Do it.
No. We'll just do the 10. If I have the space for a 10x10, I think I will go ahead and do that.
Yep, you have space to do
Just
a
for
10x10,
extra
I would
protection.
say.
Yep. So do 10x10.
I actually, just for story's sake, because Luck's arm was in there, I'm saying his arm's in there, but not, or you actually have enough control, you could leave him a way to get his arm out. But I'd say,
Yeah, I basically, I'll leave his arm, his fingers might be in there, but I'd say his arm is free enough.
Okay.
If he has his hand on it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, you hear him say, "Do it!" And
Yep, so she does it.
locked in ice. Riley in the doorway, not knocked down, but probably nursing a little bit of a. Actually, he's a warforged. She doesn't care that he got hit. What's he up to, Axel or Daniel?
Considering my next turn, not his.
He can just sort of stand back at this point after feeling like he was in the way.
Yeah, I think he's going to do that.
Okay. Yep, he just sort of steps out of the door. He gets himself stepped out of the door, so seeing that Vidar is in there, actually we'll say that I assume Luna went running out, following and went and did her
Luna
ice
went
block.
running out. Yeah, she did.
Okay.
So we'll have him just stand off to the side at this point.
Yeah, he'll go and stand off to the side, unfortunately.
Yep. Vidar. Unless you had something else for Riley. Oh, okay.
No. Sorry, I was looking at his abilities. No,
Yep.
doesn't work. Sorry.
Vidar, you are up. You are still in the room. Everyone else went chasing out after this ring, which went bursting out.
He's going to turn. He's going to walk towards the door. Is there enough room for him to look out the door?
Oh, yeah. Now that Riley has stepped aside.
Yeah, I looked around. Good morning, Riley. Good morning, Celia. Hello. He's going to dip into his belt pouch that's underneath his fancy jacket and get some silver, some powdered silver out. Just rub his fingers in it. He's going to cast Magic Circle. I'm just going to say, I hope you guys can hold it there for a minute. And begin casting it to try to lock it into place.
Okay.
Quite literally, apparently.
Cool. So you begin to cast Magic Circle. As the rune starts to form itself. You're casting it around basically the ice block and the ring.
Yeah,
Yep.
in that 10-foot radius. And
Gotcha.
basically trying to keep it localized and contained
Yep.
this ring into it.
Gotcha.
So he just yawns and goes, keep it held. Good job, everyone.
Celia.
Oh, my head.
I mean, not much for her to do. She is going to move in between the ring and the nice extra dimensional space that Iska's created. And she is gonna look at the party and says, and that thing breaks out, it's gone.
Okay.
have
And
what-
I'm going to hold my action to, if it breaks out and comes within 5 feet of me, I'm gonna banish the motherfucker.
Nice.
I'm gonna banish it. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Cool. So you basically are halfway between the ring and the rope that's leading up into the extra dimensional space.
Yep.
So yeah, you're about 15 feet away from the rope, 15 feet away from the ring.
Yep.
Okay.
If it comes within 5 feet, I'm gonna.
Yep. There's a wall on one side of you. There is
smack it
open
in
space on the other, but is what it is. You're holding your action. Gotcha.
Yep.
Next up is Druid's Bane. As I said, you see inside of it, you see that light grow very bright, and you see it disappear from inside of the ice block and off of that. And you see, let's see, where is everybody? Celia, I assume you're watching the ring. So now I'm going to just do the lineup real quick. We've got the ring, ice block, luck. Celia. We then have Luna out between Celia and the rope. We've got Vidar casting his circle. It's a 10-foot range, so you're actually probably you're actually in front of Celia you're in front of Celia casting the block. Iska is right next to the rope, and Axel is downstairs because he got knocked off. Got knocked offside. You're looking up at the rope. So, you're actually staring at the ring as well. You see the ring disappear. I need Iska, Luna,
Do I
and
actually
Axel.
do I have line of sight on it? as it disappears? Because it's like on the floor and I'm downstairs.
Yeah, you probably don't have line of sight on it as it disappears. You were.
I was going to otherwise try and counterspell.
Yeah.
If I could, but
Yeah, no, you don't have line of sight of it. So I need Axel, Iska, and who did I say? Luna. I'll give Cilia a perception check.
Okay, perception checks. Got it. Not the best. That would only be an 18.
Okay. Iska, you're staring at that ring, basically ready to go left, right, center, wherever it goes. You see its form, just like you watched back in Falcon's Crest as the one before disappeared, get brighter and brighter and brighter. With a 20 perception, what you notice before it disappears, it has taken on the shape of a small corn husk doll. Iska, you're looking, having just sent Lily up into the extra dimensional space. You see a facsimile of Baby, the little cornhusk doll, appear at the top of the rope and climb up into the space. I see you questioning. Yes? No? Okay. The one thing is I kind of don't remember the words of that. Is it have to be someone that you allow into the space? Or is that
I'm
anyone
looking that
who
up
climbs
right
the
now,
rope?
but I would say just go ahead with it.
If it's a concentration spell, you can stop concentrating on it whenever.
Yeah, just an invisible entrance, so do it, man.
So it starts climbing. We'll say it starts climbing. You see it starting to climb up the rope towards the top of it. Hidden by Axel, you can see this as well. From down at the floor, you see this small cornhusk doll climbing up the rope. And Axel, it's your turn.
oh god. Alright, all the fancy tricks haven't been working. So he is he could probably just scramble up the stairs real quick, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he was going to scramble straight up the stairs.
Wasn't it paralyzed?
It was hold monstered, but he said it was still teleporting within there, and so it broke out of it, I presume. Yeah. Because he was still concentrating and never made any wisdom saves, but it's fine.
As you all know, these rings are tough to stop. It took level 20 caster.
He's psychic network because it's quicker and easier to communicate. I can stop it. He's got the scroll. I can imprison it for presumably eternity, but it's a powerful spell and we might need it in other cases. I could just try and destroy the ring if I can. He is going. If no one's giving him any feedback on that.
Yep, y'all. It's the fastest thought. Where
Yep.
you can give him your advice whether you want him to just try to destroy it or imprison it. You know this was imprisoned, so there's still a chance that it's.
I'm all for destroying it.
Well, because he doesn't have super powerful disintegrates anymore, so well, super powerful, but yeah. So it was magically imprisoned or conventionally imprisoned?
It was imprisoned by Eva, who
Yeah.
has imprisoned it multiple times before, so it was magically imprisoned.
Hmm. Jesus. So we don't even. I don't even know we can won't stop at all.
Well, how are we going to destroy it? So how are we going to destroy it then, Axel?
I just decay.
Decay?
Ooh, I forgot about that.
I mean, he's just got blight. That's all I'm thinking.
Oh, blight, yeah.
It's damage, right? He's got nothing else that I think I can do, so. Hold on, I don't think I've got any runes that can do anything. Sorry, guys.
Nope. I just mentally thought of something.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's just gonna try and blight it.
Go for it.
Direct damage,
Yep.
destruction, decay.
Yep, roll an attack.
It's a save, Constitution save.
Con save. It again, it's magical effect, so it has advantage, but
Yep.
it does not have proficient in con saves, especially in a cornhusk form.
Do I actually have? Yeah, it's also. I am going to leave it blight. I was necronic. I was considering turning it to fire, but it's magical anyway.
Uh-oh.
That's 33 decay, necrotic damage. I don't. It's a necrotic bow originally. Yeah.
On a 16, it fails, yeah? Yeah, because it's
Yep,
17.
17.
You do see the doll sort of recoil as it, even from taking on this form. In fact, because it is against a vegetable matter, you do see it start to decay. It is still moving. It is now almost like the skeleton of a little doll, but is starting to sort of regenerate as it crawls up. Luck, you have your hand in an ice block.
I do. Checking. Is this thing within 20 feet of me?
We said that it was Celia. That the ice block from the rope is 30 feet, but
30
you
feet.
could move 10 feet and be within 20 feet.
That is going to... Yeah, I'm going to try and get as close to it as possible, so...
Do
Yeah.
me a quick athletics check just to rip your hand out of the ice.
Destroy the ice.
Yeah, not a problem.
Bash it with the ice. Do a
I'm
lunar
just, I
thing,
can
just
also
bash
just
it with
stop
ice.
concentrating on it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's just like I could just stop whatever.
I don't know if I should do this, though.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
Oh, I don't know if I should do this.
Go for it.
What could go wrong?
I'm just rereading it. It's like,
Just throw Celia. Her action is still held.
Fastball special. Here we go.
Yes.
Yeah,
Do
you know
it,
what?
do
That's
it.
actually a good idea. I'm gonna run up and grab this thing and throw it to Celia.
Wait, are you throwing Celia or are you throwing the thing?
Wait.
Celia is between you and the rope. She's saying...
Celia, closer!
Just
Throw
throw
Celia!
me.
Okay, throw
My
Celia!
action
Yeah.
is still held.
I am strong. Throw Celia. I will throw Celia.
Please
She
roll
says
me... Please throw me a yeet attack on
This
Celia.
is great.
If she says throw her,
Somebody clip that. Somebody clip that.
Yeah. So, yes. Please roll to yeet Celia. Sure, athletics, I guess. Probably with
Yeah.
advantage. She's very small compared to you.
okay.
And she can kind of do that cheerleading thing where she can push off. Because, yeah, her action is still held.
All right.
Yeet Celia. Yeah, 21.
21. It's just
Let's just... I'm going to turn this over to you all. Luck, Luck, Celia, describe to me how... Yeah, Luck, describe to me how you get yeeted and banish this thing.
Luke begins like running, and all he hears is "throw me," and he's like, "What?"
Gotcha.
And then he just grabs Celia by the legs and just like a hammer toss, just.
Oof. So yeah, through the air, I do need you to do an acrobatics check just to be able to stay on target.
Stay on target.
Stay on target. On a 20, sure. And then roll me your, as you go flying by the rope, reach out and touch this thing. Roll me your banish. You have to land an attack, actually, don't you?
Yes, I do. So I'll just hit it with natural causes.
Yep.
If I need to, I will use an inspiration.
Okay.
Stay on target.
No, lucky die, luck die.
Okay, you can use a luck die. That's why we have them.
And I will also advantage. Can I advantage?
You can advantage on a luck die. You can.
All right, that's 2.
But
Cool.
you can't use an inspiration on top.
I will. Oh, I can't.
I think they said we couldn't use 2 spins on the same roll.
No, we couldn't.
Yeah.
No.
On a 13, you go reaching out after getting yeeted across, and
Yep.
your fingers.
Hold on.
Uh-oh, wait a second. Divination incoming?
You roll a 14.
14
So that's 14,
plus
15,
9
16,
is a 23.
20, 21, 20, 23.
So literally,
Jesus Christ.
so
work.
what do you do to Axel to return Cilia on target? Do you throw something? Do you push Riley, who then bumps her? Show me how this. Tell me how this crazy plan somehow, after a natural 1 and a crappy roll, still comes together.
I think that while he was casting Blight, he shoulders Luck while Luck is going to pick up Cilia, and that sort of carries through that she's slightly more on target.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you think you are so off target. Luck, as you let go of her ankles, you're like, oh man, did I miss this? And through the divination, Axel's basically like, wait, I saw this. I know what happens. Bumps Luck, and Luck gets shoulder checked, and you just reach out, your fingers just brush, and you roll for your how many?
I will use an inspiration on my contested charisma save.
Charisma save on this. So this is willpower. Okay, you can go ahead and put the inspiration on there.
No. Oh, I only rolled a 15. Come on. Fail.
This is a magical effect, so it probably does have advantage on this. Just forewarning.
I don't have my portent. I've already used it.
I know.
Ooh, first roll, not too great.
Oh god. Oh my god.
Apparently the ring, of all the things this cursed ring has seen and been able to counter, a yeeted rogue is not one of those things.
Dude, I mean, it's a rogue. Terrifying things. These.
Your fingers.
I highly doubt it can be exhausted, but it also has to make its DC 17 con save or be exhausted.
Yeah, it's immune to exhaustion. But
That's what I thought.
roll me the
But it
d4
still
for how
does
long it's
take-
going to disappear for.
It still does take 37 damage.
Okay.
Alright, and it's 1d4 plus 1. Hallelujah.
5. So you all have 30 seconds as this disappears. You know it will reappear in the same space that it disappeared from. What do y'all want to do to prepare?
We need to get Lily as far away as we can possibly get her.
So should Luna just grab Lily and start ice lighting?
Yep.
Yes,
She can get pretty
that
far.
would be-
Yeah, I was gonna say because when you have
Great
90 feet with
a
your
monk,
with your flight of the wind or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Okay.
Just grab
All right.
Lily and
I'm
So you
just-
got five.
So,
5 times 90 is 450 feet away. Yeah.
yep. I will when I do have her. I am gonna So I am gonna start dashing with her, but I'm also gonna switch recast Protection from Good and Evil and give it to Lily instead of Luck.
Okay.
Luck doesn't have any more now. Lily does.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Iska, you've got your. There is going to take a second for y'all to get Lily to come down, but I mean, actually, yeah, Iska.
I
you
know.
can-
I'm going up. I'm
well,
not
or
waiting
Iska can literally
for
just
her to come
banish it,
down.
and she'll fall out. And she'll basically fall out.
Luna, hot potato,
Catch!
and then yes,
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah,
We're
that's.
going.
I was going to say Lily's not. Luna's not going to drop Lily. Not a problem.
No.
And how about the rest of you? So Luna, Lily, out the door. You kind of know that where in 3-dimensional space this ring will reappear. What do y'all want to do?
Should I continue? I'm going to say to the group, should I continue to create a circle or should I just abandon the idea and try to hit it like the rest of you?
It's gonna take 37 psychic damage while it's in my little plane of existence, getting eaten by something.
Yeah.
If it has like a mind state,
If
Yeah.
it can,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it can be damaged. You saw it get damaged before. I just don't know if it lasts when it changed shape. And
Yeah.
well, it's been proven that unlike the bow, it doesn't immediately curse whoever touches it. I think
Yeah.
it's just going for Lily. So, and I'm presuming like Luna's gone already at this point, unless we're talking psychically.
What do I do?
Yep.
What
so
do
we
I
have
do?
we have 30 seconds before it gets back.
Mm-hmm.
30 seconds.
I'm gonna cast True Seeing on Axel, knowing this thing can shapeshift in a way, just so if it comes back and tries to look different or
Okay.
seek away, at least one of us will be able to tell
Yeah.
for sure where this thing's at.
Okay.
I'm
Gotcha.
going to ask Ryan
while
Talia.
we're paused, I'm going to thank the chat for making this moment possible.
I'm a drop one of these.
Thank you, chat.
I'm gonna drop one of these.
I'll get Riley into it and on what the hell is happening, and Rian and Nate's like, hey, this is it's a cursed ring that we thought we got rid of, and now it's back, and now it's worse, and it's going for Lily, and we need to stop.
Yep. So yeah, they're both Nate and Rian are. They look concerned. They are high-level magic users, and as you describe, and they sort of witness some of what's happened, and knowing that it came from the Arch Nullifier's vault and that it got out, they seem concerned.
Silver's the answer. You've still got my dagger, don't you, Silver? She's got the silvered dagger.
I
I
do.
Uh,
I do.
I'm gonna
That-
Can I,
drop a bless on Cilia, Axel, and gonna have to give it to myself on this one. I think, yeah.
Can I-
cast this? No.
can I request some? Can I make a plea to Ryan Talia for a empowered silvered sword?
I mean,
just
Riley's
myself.
wheeling Rod and Tyre now.
No, Ryan Talia, not Lysithia.
No, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah. Well,
Ryan Talia.
silvered arrows. Huh?
Yeah, do me a persuasion check with disadvantage.
And I can't spend anything on it because
Nope.
she doesn't allow that. Persuasion.
That's what happens when you keep dealing with gods.
11.
Perseverance.
You hear sort of a smug in your mind.
Oh, well, you're great. I'm going to pull out the longsword that was on my hip. And when that ring reappears, I'm going to cast Moonbeam and trying to have a narrow shaft instead of just like this massive space that
Okay.
Moonbeam usually takes up. I just want to have a centered beam, lot smaller area,
Okay.
if that's possible. Just to like narrow the field so it doesn't destroy everything in the room.
So I'm basically going to say the rounds have passed by. We come back to basically the point where it disappeared at the end of Luck's turn. Lily is outside, far away, and you see in the middle of space the ring actually, I'm sorry, the now sort of dark, sort of almost like that, like blue corn husk doll, reappear in space and begin flying towards the front door.
So does it go out of my reach?
So, as it starts to move, in the middle of open space, sort of floating in midair, you see it suddenly gets snatched out of the air.
Yeah.
And materializing, floating just off of the railing out in the space, you see a familiar dark-skinned feature. Dark-skinned humanoid. Dark hair, very well coiffed thing. As Asmodeus appears in the middle of the tavern. He looks at it and goes, well, this is a very nasty piece of work, isn't it? Closes his hand and crushes the ring out of existence.
Oh dear.
We need to talk. And that is where we're going to end our session.
I knew, because as soon as you said it into the void, it's like, oh, Asmodeus. Also, I had True Sight on.
He wasn't invisible. He teleported in. He plane
but
shifted in.
Can I see through his form is the question.
Ooh. Holy
True sight
shit.
does that. True sight
Yes.
does
Like Axel
that.
comes face to face with
Yes, actually, yeah. You would, gosh, do me a wisdom saving throw.
I mean, yeah, he is incredibly powerful, so he might just be able to overwhelm it.
He probably wasn't thinking of someone coming, but just like your DM wasn't remembering that someone might have true sight. So yeah, roll me a wisdom saving throw to see whether you go mad.
Oh, this is fine.
I won't make it a disadvantage, though it probably should be. In normal and raw rules, it probably should be, but I want you to have a fighting chance here. I'm going to vote this is about a DC 25 for you not to just be... Oh, yeah. You can, I mean, you can... Your call, if you want to spend an inspiration that somehow with your son and everyone's around, if you want to spend a donated inspiration, I will let you. But yeah, you got to roll a 10 or higher on a D12.
Yeah, I will do that. I didn't mean to roll twice because it was slow. I mean, whatever. I mean, breaking down. Yeah. Series of.
Yeah, you look face to face into the eyes of the King of Hell, and yeah, you are basically petrified in fear. As we will end our session as Asmodeus. Huh. You know, we were wondering what he was up to. Appears in y'all's midst.
That's interesting. I thought it was very interesting after she sent it. I thought it wasn't coming back from the void when Silly sent it away. I was like, oh yeah, he's got it there. Oh god.
So, let's go around and meet our players. We will start with our good buddy, Dragons or Cats.
Hello, everyone. I am Dragons and Cats, and I was playing Vidar Lycran in this wonderful dance around the door scene. Yeah, good session. You can find me on the Twitch and Twitters as Dragons and Cats. And yeah.
Cool. Next up is Templar Warden, the voice from beyond, the man behind the cat.
Not the only one. Hello, I am Templar Warden. I was playing the Dragon Tabaxi Wizard hidden by Axel, who has caused this problem, has now looked into the consequences, and a little bit more. You may find me anywhere on Twitter at Reina Templar. You may find on Twitter at Reina Templar. Anyone on the internet as Templar Warden. You find me and everyone else in the Discord, where we have chats and posts and share things like the lore document that we.
I will link it there
today.
for everyone who wants to partake.
I believe it's already been done.
Oh, even better.
But yeah, it's down there. So if you want to join, I'll put the link in chat. And this was a fun session, an interesting, very tense session. Oh boy.
Next up is Bird versus Plane.
Hi, I'm Bird versus Plane. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Bird versus Plane. Sorry,
Bird versus
my dog is
Margo.
pushing me in a chair. Enough of this. Okay, we're done. Anyways, maybe check out the Twitch channel later tonight for some more Wait a Sec, Dude, as Jay and I begin to tackle the final act of Divinity.
Woohoo!
That's it. All right, Pups, come here.
Next up is NNG9.
Hey, I'm NG9. This session was quite a thing. It's probably going to be a while before Luna stops running, because Osmodeus showed up. Yeah, I enjoyed it, but wow. You can follow me on Twitter at NG9, Twitch at NG98, and yeah, wow. Stay hydrated.
Next up is Good Guy Pie.
Hi everyone, I am Good Guy Pie. You can find me at Good Guy Pie on Twitch and Too Good To Guy on Twitter. And yeah, this is it's just a demon, really, isn't it?
Oh, his senses must be going wild.
Just some random dude who showed up, and I know nothing important.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Hey,
Sounds like
maybe he's a
Luck's
friend
gonna
of
make a deal.
Rian's. He looks like a cool dude.
Look, make a deal.
No, he doesn't.
Well, actually, I trust this guy. He slapped me, woke me up, and sent me here. So
Oh, yeah?
Well, we'll just say,
I really like this dude. He's got a fancy hat.
yeah, his fancy hat. He also absolutely stinks of fiend because it's luck.
Yeah. Yeah, so for those of you who don't mental image, this totally is Rathion from the recent expansion in WoW, because to me, who is a better embodiment of what Asmodeus would look like when he wants to be like smooth talking dude. Speaking of smooth talking people and yeeting rogues, tree hugging druid. I love it. I'm holding my action. Why don't you just throw me? Perfect. Roll to yeet the rogue.
I mean, there's lots of stories about barbarians eating halflings, and now we have a story about a paladin eating a rogue. It's fine.
A true
the
story
first
of
time that the first time that Celia and Luck have actually
Work together.
worked together.
Oh my gosh,
That's
it
true.
is.
It is.
Yes.
Their level.
Oh my God.
One time they have ever agreed with each other.
I will say it did involve him basically bodily throwing you by the ankles.
That might help.
I imagine, you know that scene in Matilda where I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
Madam Trunchbull.
Yeah,
Has just her by her pigtails and.
I'm there for this. I'm all in.
Hi. You can go find me on Twitter. I don't really tweet things, but I retweet when things are happening. And if this is a clip, I'm definitely retweeting that.
Okay. And last but not least, I am Tall Squall. Thank you all for turning in. Thank you for the donations. Thanks for sticking around for our lore, then sticking around for a fun sort of skill challenge of our players versus a kind of unstoppable little cursed ring. As yeah, those things that y'all didn't destroy before. Who knew they'd come back and haunt you later?
Little ring of horrors, little ring of horrors.
And with that, thank you all, everybody. I'm gonna see who's out there, who we can raid. It looks like Madame Gandalf is out there, so let's head her way. And until next time, gather your friends together, tell a story, because that's what it is all about. Thank you all, and we will see you next time. Remember, kindness is a free action. Bye bye.